We have lots of people here today. Thank you all for coming. Today's session isn't anything formal at all. Just going to kind of talk about what we've gone through the last, can you believe it? It's already been 8 weeks that we've been doing this. I don't know where this summer's gone. And somebody asked me last week, and I can't remember, I'm sorry who it was, about pressing in the crotch area of pants to get that sag out. And in this book, I don't know if you can see it here. It's More Power Sewing by Sandra Pezzina. There it is.
It's kind of blurring out. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's because of the way I have the background set up. There we go.
Okay.
So it's More Power Sewing. If you don't have this book, it's really good. And you can usually find it in a used bookstore. But on page 107, and I think I'm going to do a blog on it, put it up on the website. But she talks about seat stretch prevention. Is that showing up backwards to you guys?
No, it looks good.
Oh, okay, because to me it looks backwards. But it shows how to, come on, Ramona. Anyway, it shows how to press and stretch at the same time. And I also did a blog, and I found this really wonderful tailor on YouTube. Did you have a chance to see that blog? He talks about, okay, he talks about stretching, stretch pressing, and it's really mold pressing trousers before they're even sewn together. And I learned a couple of the techniques when I was in college, but not everything that he shows. That was pretty amazing, I thought. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, you might want to go back and check that out. It's on the Element 3 Health Club website for sewing.
I watched
to do that.
I'm sorry.
Is it kind of like when you do the shoulder seams on some jackets and stuff, you mold it before you sold it, so it kind of shrink it to fit?
Right, right.
Ramona, can you do that on just regular cotton twill? It was quite amazing to me.
Wasn't
I've never
it?
seen anything like that.
Yeah, and I had, like I said, I hadn't seen all those techniques, but I had seen some when I was in college. Try it on a cotton twill. I would think that it would help because twill has some stretch and the cotton has some stretch to it. That's why our jeans get baggy when we wear them.
Yeah.
But
when we used to buy jeans, we used to do that to stretch them so they'd fit our hips.
Oh, there you go.
And to lengthen the rise. Before we even washed them, we ironed them when we first got them home. Then we washed them, we ironed them again, and the shape was a lot better.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Good information. Yeah. Wow.
I remember the guys wearing their jeans and wetting them and then letting them dry when they were pegging them.
Yeah.
But does that show my age?
Nope, not at all.
Here's a question I've been dying to ask. I know a lot of people that sew. I've never posed this question before. Do you do the same ironing after you finish the garment when you're just doing it like day-to-day wear? Do you press all your seams open?
I do. Personally, when I that's just me.
So you sew do you iron with your garment inside out then?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like when I'm pressing in fact, on my shirt that I'm wearing today, I do that.
Plackets?
Yeah, the placket. I unbutton it, and from the wrong side, I press it. I starch everything. Just because I like the way it wears and feels. Plus, I read somewhere a long time ago that if you put starch on your cotton shirts and stuff like that, if you happen to spill on them, which I'm always guilty of, it helps release whatever you spilled. I mean, I spray it and stuff too, but it helps release it, keeps it from sinking into the fibers.
I need to do that then. Yesterday, he indicated at one point to look at your profile with regard to your legs, and that would help you have indicate maybe where you need to do that pressing
right.
and stretching. So that was interesting.
Because a lot of people have, and I don't know if it's an athletic thing or a genetic thing, but their calves kind of turn out like that. Not that bad, but out like that. And so that what it does then is shifts the side seam. It'll come down to the knee and then it shifts this way. So that pressing helps that. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I looked at quite a few videos, but I thought his was the best. It really, the others didn't show quite as detailed of techniques as his did.
He mentioned what fabric he was working with, but I didn't quite understand what he was saying. Do you know what he was talking about?
I think it was a wool, wasn't it? I mean, wools are going to do the best.
Yeah, but he gave it a particular name. But yeah, I think he was doing wool.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check because I don't recall. Anybody recall? There's Miss Jean. Hi, Miss Jean.
Hi, I just got off of my exercise class, so I'm ready to go.
All right. So has anybody tried like the zipper techniques, the flat felt seam, all those things that we've been talking about these last few weeks?
I did the zipper, the invisible zipper, and I can't believe how, much better it was. I did it in,
yay!
a quarter of the time. So yeah.
Oh, good. What did you find the most? What did you find the most helpful in that?
The fact of pressing the seam.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was marking it with chalk, and pressing the seam made it a whole lot better, and putting the interface, well, I do the interfacing on that strip, but
okay.
Yeah, and sewing from the top on both sides, because I was going top to and then bottom up, but sewing from the top down.
Yeah, and then what you're doing is changing direction. Right. So it makes the seam kind of skew.
So it goes it off sometime at the top. So if it's thrown off at the bottom, it's okay. But it wasn't thrown off at all. It really looks great. I was really impressed with myself after.
Now, did you have difficulty at the end where you had to go out and up a little bit and then come back down and drew it into the seam line?
Oh, that wasn't a problem.
Oh, good. Yay.
So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And those videos for anybody that wasn't in those classes, those videos are up on the website under Element 3 Health Sewing. And you just go to On Demand Library, I think is what it's called, and everything's there that we do. And usually we have it up within a couple, 3 days.
Now, are those things there forever, or is there a limited time?
As far as I know, forever. I imagine as time goes on and we get more and more videos up, there's only so much server space. So they may go away after a while. I don't know. Nobody's told me that they are. So if they do, I'll let you know, because I'm sure I'd get fair warning before that happened. We have a lot of people on that aren't showing their faces. We have Jeannie and Phyllis and Carol and Diane and Doreen and Carolyn. Lauren will discount. She's my helper.
I don't know how to do it. I keep going to I keep trying to do it, but nothing happens. I don't know what I'm supposed to press.
Start video.
Would it start video? Okay.
There's Elaine. Hi, Elaine.
It doesn't
Hi,
do
Suzette.
anything.
Doreen.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi. Good morning.
Good
There's
morning.
Carol.
You look great, Elaine. Well, thank you. Getting better. Oh, good. Very good.
We miss you, Eileen.
I will be back. I'm getting there.
Good.
I'm at the hospital with my mom, and I can't seem to undo the video on my phone, but they're getting ready to release her. So, but I wanted to check in.
Oh, bless her heart, golly.
She's 96, and
oh gosh,
right.
Had a little incident last Friday night, and so we've been here since then. So anyway, but I wanted to always like listening.
Oh, how nice of you to check in. I hope she does okay.
Yeah, she seems to be doing quite well the last day. So she could go home. Anyway.
Good. Yay.
I'll put myself back on mute and just listen.
Okay. So anybody else try any of the techniques or anything?
I've done the flat felt and I've done the mitered corners, and I haven't yet done the zipper, but I intend to.
Oh, good. And did you learn any tips, or what did you learn that you could pass along to us?
Oh, I think you covered it all. Your tips were, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Got my folder, Ramona.
Oh, yeah. Elaine's got her book started. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm looking for a man for last week because my husband had cataract surgery. And so I haven't yet checked that. And then a week from today, he has the next one. But I'm interested. That woman just said that she had, I don't remember who it was, but said they were at the hospital with their mother. So maybe I can still look while he's having his next cataract surgery next Wednesday. I'll try. Otherwise, it's on demand. So anyway, it's great. So it was directional sewing, right?
Last week? Oh, last week, yes.
Last week, the one I was directional sewing. Yeah, I'd like that.
Most hospitals have where you can connect to the internet with their as a guest, so you can you don't have to use your data points. You can use the Wi-Fi.
Well, I have to be a little creative because I wasn't even allowed there. I drop them off and that was it. So they told me I have at least 3 hours to. Oh, wait a minute! I just lost you, I think.
Yeah, you went to screen sharing or something.
Oh, I have no idea. It just says launch meeting.
No, don't do that.
No, I didn't touch anything, actually. It just went. So anyway, what I was going to say is I couldn't get, I'll figure that out in a minute, but I couldn't go in with him. So I went across to Mimi's Cafe and ate a 3-hour breakfast. They kept filling my coffee up. And I said, do you mind if I just sit here? Because I can't go get him for 3 hours. And it's right across the street. I didn't want to go home. And, oh, there it is. So anyway, they said, sure. So I just sat there. But it was a little, you know, if it were cool enough outside, I'd just wait in the car and I could do it from there. But it's a little hot for that. So anyway. Yeah. But, you know, the procedure itself takes about 25 minutes, but they tell me to count on 3 hours. You know, they pile them up in there. So
yeah.
Yeah, but it went well. Anyway, by the way, I came on a couple minutes late, and so I was just Googling this Sandra Betzina's Power Sewing, and they do have it for $5 and something on one site for a thrift store purchase.
It's a really good book.
Yeah, I just I don't have it. I have a bunch of them, but that's one I don't have. So. Anyway, but yeah, it looks like you can get it. When did that come out? Is that why it's so inexpensive?
Let me look. This one's called Masters Techniques for the 21st Century.
Okay.
She has another one too, because there's power sewing and then there's more power sewing. This one came out in 1990.
Okay. So you're obviously referring to that, so you can't necessarily talk about the one that came after that, right? So I don't know. I see that she has lots of books here. And
yes.
I have books, but I don't have any of hers. And
is she still on the circuit doing stuff, or is she retired? I don't even know.
She retired. Retired. Yeah.
Retired. People that took her class and were very pleased with it. There were 2 people that belonged to a sewing group that I belonged to, and they said they took her class and she only took just a handful, but they said they learned a whole lot. But then she took them on a tour of San Francisco and they had a great time.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I don't think she's doing any of that anymore. Anyway, so what would you recommend? I mean, the book you have was the Master's Techniques, but it was 90, you said, right?
Right. So it was more power sewing.
More power sewing. Okay. Just wonder with a bunch of them on here, what you would recommend for choosing today for now. Same one?
Oh, gosh. That's a hard question.
Yeah, because
it's a very good book. Where did I go with that? I just bought, and I'm not through all of it yet, Judy Burlap's Japanese Tailoring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's blurry. I can't.
I know.
Okay. When I looked here at preview, so I thought if I pull up a preview, I might see the copyright date, but it didn't give it. But anyway, it just is power sewing step by step. So I assume it's one of the original ones.
Probably.
Yeah.
We had a show on HGTV for several years. It was like a half-hour show.
Right.
So I taped them, and guess what? I have nothing to play it on now. Can't even buy one.
In the morning.
I don't know where you live, but here in Baltimore, there's a place where you can take your tapes.
Methazine is as needed for dizziness.
Shirley, you're on.
She got one this morning. She should have another one.
Let me mute her. Okay.
Actually, we have them here, but they're expensive to do. So I've got some of her books. I'll do the books.
I just looked at this one. It says text 2000. So it maybe
they did another run of it. I don't know.
I don't. And funny, it doesn't give a copyright date on that page. Text 2000, photographs 2000 by Taunton Press. So, well, anyway, I'll do a little more poking around.
One of these before, but it lasted much shorter. I don't even.
And then Judy Barlap on this Japanese tailoring, maybe we couldn't see it because of the thing. She studied under Star Yashaguchi. So I also ordered that book.
It's the cover, the shiny cover.
Well, this isn't really too shiny, but I don't know. Yeah.
No, I guess not. No, it's not coming through.
Yeah. It's called Timeless Tailoring Ready-to-Wear Techniques. And then Judy Barlap's is called Unique Techniques Japanese Tailoring Manual. And then she had a accompanying videos that she sends you a link to the website, and you just emails the links to the website, and you just watch on the website.
Okay. So she would include things like Hong Kong finishes and that sort of thing?
Probably. I haven't been through the whole thing yet. I started watching the videos.
Oh, okay. You know, it's funny. I have a lot of embroidery designs on, in fact, all the way back to floppy disks and CDs and whatever. And I don't have an extra CD drive, but I'm thinking I need to get one. And that maybe, and I also have had old tapes put on CDs for somebody who said they had old tapes. So there are people out there that do that, you know, that convert. So if you don't want to lose it.
Yeah, and you can buy equipment to do it. I've checked on that because I've got some old stuff I need to convert over.
And they have one here in town, but it's $25.
One was
for one.
One was for brushing it.
One was what?
Shirley keeps popping in on. I keep muting her. She's talking. Her mom's getting released from the hospital. So.
Oh, that's interesting because I have myself muted. But anyway,
really?
I'm really sorry. We're getting ready to go home. We're getting ready to go home. So I will see you next week.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Technology has a mind of its own. So was somebody asking a question? I didn't catch.
I don't think.
Oh, there's Casey. Hi, Casey. All right. What else you want to talk about?
Well, I didn't do my homework. I need to catch up on those videos that you guys have done because I always seem to have something to do at the hour of this meeting. So dang it, I didn't do my homework. Otherwise I'd have lots of questions for you.
Well, you can always, ask questions at a different time. That's okay.
This isn't a question, but it's a comment about your what you post on My Grove, and I really, really enjoy it. At this point in my life, I'm not doing any quilting anymore. I used to, so I kind of skip over that. But you cover everything from paper crafting, and the one I just enjoyed most recently, because I am soon to be in need of a new printer. And the one that was how to choose a printer that, it was mostly for paper crafting. And I do that too, cards and paper crafting. So it was helpful. And the printer that I have right now is one I had years ago when I was making a wall hanging for my brother. My father was deceased and he used to play the violin. So I took a tip out of Nancy Zeman's book and I did a quilt, and it had it was a photo transfer. It had his picture, it had musical notes, it had a poem about when somebody dies, the music stops, but echoes on in sweet refrain, that sort of thing. And I made a cute little wall hanging, and the trim around it was in leather, but it hung from the bow of his violin. And anyway, I had a hard time doing the photo transfer on fabric and getting it decent. So I went to CompUSA, which I don't know if it is anymore, but it was around the corner. And I said, this is what I want to do. If you show me a printer that can do it, I'll buy it. So that's what happened. And I've used it a lot, but it has its shortcomings. And I was very impressed with the one that she talked about. You know,
wow,
so
what a phenomenal idea that you did that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, is that they're both gone now, my brother and my father, but it was a way to honor him. And it was, well, as you all know, it's there's something for the giver as well as the receiver. So it was therapeutic for me too.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah. I have my father-in-law's old ties. My mother-in-law gave them to me, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I think I want to do something for the grandchildren. I have to tear them apart and see how much fabric I actually have. And I'd like to do something more than a pillow. Right. But I don't know.
There's a lot that use the whole tie. I was surprised. It was a friend of mine years ago whose mother died of brain cancer. And she had this great idea of taking a garment from a deceased person and taking bits and pieces of them and put them in something, a wall hanging, a pillow, or something or other, sort of dedicating, you know, honoring the person gone. And she gave me the idea thinking I might do it. I was just not there yet in my head, but I thought it was a great idea. Mm-hmm. You know, if you just take bits and pieces of their fabric, their clothing, or something they loved, you know.
Yeah, I did that for my mother-in-law when her mom and her father passed away. She gave me their coats, and they lived in the Midwest, and they had fur linings, so I made teddy bears for her out of them. She just cried.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like getting a hug.
Yeah, my mother was a sewer, and it reminds me of your husband being a firefighter, because my dad was a firefighter, and my mother took some of his old uniforms when I was little and made a coat for me. Oh, so, wow. You know, that material was beautiful. It was, you know, very wool, you know, and so, yeah.
My mother wore, they called them house dresses years ago. Yes. And I mean, she had oodles of them. I cut the pockets off and I have them on my bulletin board. So I just have the material, and they would embroider. It was factory embroidered. And that way I didn't have to keep all those dresses.
Well, you could, I'm going to say, you could even put those pockets on a straight quilt type thing and use it to store sewing items in the pockets or something. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Good idea.
Yeah.
Hi, Casey.
She's muted.
Missed you. Here's an hug.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
Has anybody taken a look at what we've got coming up in Stitchers Collective?
Not yet.
Where's my list? I did a list yesterday. It's up on the website.
Elements 3.
While you're looking for your list, I got to show off the pants I made yesterday.
Oh, good. Oh, cute.
Oh. Cute.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
Yeah. Elaine, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm going to be a grandmother in September.
Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah.
So all those small pieces of fabric of 1 yard or whatever, I'm making up into the wardrobe just because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
They're smaller.
Yeah. You can finish those projects quicker.
And the audience is not going to complain.
Yes. You can
she wore the outfits until she was about 8, and then they get their own ideas.
Yes. Maybe earlier. Right. Although
definitely earlier.
But it's funny. I did let my daughters especially choose what they wanted to, and they now look back at some of those pictures, and she said, "Why did you let me wear that?" And I said, "Because you wanted to. You thought it was great, you know." So anyway, and when her own daughter did it to her, she put a note on her when she went to nursery school that said, "I dressed myself today," so she didn't have to take blame for it.
That's cute.
Funny. I was doing some embroidering, and I know, does anybody else, I know you do, Ramona, does anybody else do machine embroidery?
Wow,
yes,
machine.
I was trying to find where I put it. I had a couple of things I was doing. Well, okay, this is one I was doing that I saw online. And my daughter liked it, so she wanted it, because we now are all empty nesters, even my daughters. So I don't know if you can see this.
That's cute.
That's cute.
Is it backwards, or it's okay? Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's right.
So anyway, yes, we decided the chicks can come home for a short time. Yeah, we miss them, but. And the other two I can't even find, but one was very funny, and it was a wall hanging that I wanted to do for a long time. And I'm trying to decide, in fact, I could get your opinion if I can find it. I'm trying to decide whether to make it a small quilt and hang, or to try to frame it. Wait a second. I'll be right back.
I have a question, Ramona.
What's that?
I saw something on the internet this morning that sewing machines now show a stitch count. I know that cameras will show a shutter count when you want to sew it or something, but I didn't know that sewing machines had a stitch count. Is that so?
Yeah. Most of the ones since, oh gosh, probably early to mid 2000s have had stitch count. Sometimes the technician is the only one that can get in there and get it. So when they do service repairs, they at the dealership, they keep track of when it's been serviced and the stitch count and all that. And it, like on mine, it will tell the sewing portion of it and the embroidery portion as separate stitch counts.
Oh, so there's nothing in my instruction book about that. That means
so it must be something that only the technician can get into.
Okay, thanks.
I'm wondering, have you ever had the problem that I had to get a new computer, and suddenly I can only print, you know how you make your design online and then, or in the software, and then try to print it so you can get the marks for placement and that sort of thing. Well, for whatever reason, it will only print in 2D now. And I have even had the technician here, and he can't figure it out either. But I'm still working on that. I cannot find my where I put it, because I think I took it, put it somewhere because I was going to look for a frame for it. But here's basically what it is, only stitched out.
Oh, cute.
And I figured I would hang that over where we hang our clothes. And the other thing, my husband is big on honey. I'm not, but he is. And so I like to make muffins and scones and that sort of thing. And so I put this just to cover them. And it was just a design I liked. Can you see that? Or
oh, cute.
Very pretty.
Although they're only honking sized bees for that little bit of honey jar, I think. But anyway, still cute. So
did you make those designs, or did you purchase them?
No, I purchased them. Yeah. My skills are very limited. I've done very basic ones. I'd like to do more, and I always wanted to do picture stitch, which I never learned how to do. Have you ever done that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. I want to do drawing, thread painting, they call it. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I also wanted to, and I had this in mind when my grandkids were little. Of course, the youngest one is now 22 or something like that. But anyway, the only one I did it with was one of them that was about 4. And you know how they used to draw stick figures and, that sort of thing. Well, what I really wanted to do is embroider their drawing. And then, and I wanted to machine, free motion, their drawing, and then put it in something. So that's the only one his, and it was very funny because he had a stick figure, but that stick figure even had round elbows and round knees and that sort of thing. And he was holding a fish bowl. So I had to do that. And it came out pretty good, but I sure wish I had your mitering technique then because I knew nothing about that. I put it in a pillow, but the miters are awful. I always wanted to take it back and say, let me redo those. That's terrible.
Aww.
You know. But the free motion embroidery came out good, but it was the only one I ever did of one of their drawings. But I thought that was a neat idea to kind of preserve that. You know how they mass produce drawings when they're little and you don't know what to do with all of them? So.
Yeah, I did that for our granddaughters. I had them last summer and I had them draw because I was going to make them little purses to fit their size. And so I gave them parameters on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and let them draw whatever they wanted, scanned it in. But I do everything in my software. So I put it into the software and digitized it, and then they got to stitch it out, and then I assembled the purses for them.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So, yeah, the same pages for what we wanted to do, but yeah, I never did get that far. So anyway.
I recently got the Sketch-a-Stitch from Florian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so on my laptop here, I can use a pen, and it's pretty cool. I haven't done any manipulation of embroidery on any other scale, but this is pretty cool because I can pretty much draw what I want, and then it stitches it out. So pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I haven't used that software. I did use some of the Floriani several years ago when I was helping a lady learn to use it. I didn't own it myself, but a lot of the software is, if you know one software package well, you can kind of fake your way through the other ones. At least that's the way I look at it. Which button does this? And even the icons tend to be rather similar. And also, well, I'm Windows based. So, I mean, Windows is Windows. So when you go from one to the other, and most of them are Windows based, unless they do have the Mac base. And I'm not a Mac person, but so I can fake my way through it.
That was another one of your suggestions on My Grove, I think, was that you had a whole YouTube video by Floriani, I think, about digitizing.
Probably, yeah, that was a long time ago, I think.
Well, it was fairly recent that I saw it, that I watched it, but it was fascinating. How he got is he the one that has a son that's also in the business, and he actually lives in Mexico or something like that? Yeah.
Floriani has passed away.
Oh, okay. But all right.
Could be John Deere, maybe.
That's it.
John Deere, yeah. He does a lot of videos.
Rica or something like that. And his son now, is in the business, but he talked about learning the business years ago and how it changed over the years. And I think you posted that. It was fascinating.
Yeah, he's one of the, probably, he and Floriani were the last of where their families came over from Europe and brought big machines, the Shifley machines and stuff, over to this country. And at that time they were using punch tape. You remember the old IBM cards where they punched? Well, this was just thin tape. And every time they made a mistake, they had to go back and start over. Can you imagine? Yep. And now all we have to do is delete, cut, backspace. It's amazing. But he has some exceptionally good videos. I actually have some of his videos.
It's funny. I just unearthed this. Has nothing to do with anything except we're talking about the things we've done. And this, I learned a lot from my mother. But she was really an artist as well as a sewer. But anyway, she made this purse for me when I was little. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, she took the legs off the doll and then and embroidered the top, but it's a purse. And what made me think of it is the purse you said, see, this is, the back is a purse.
Oh, how cute is that?
But she took the legs off the doll, and then it was very good until I dropped it, and the poor thing has lost her nose pretty much. But
you just gave me an idea for the stuff I do for embroiderydesigns.com. Thank you.
Yeah. She was very talented. In fact, do you remember when fabric used to be on those really thick cardboard things? Now, of course, they're thin, but you remember the size of them. Of course, all fabric was usually 36 inches. And she had one of those after she got fabric. She had one of those, and she made me a paper doll out of that and painted it, whatever.
Oh, wow.
She was very talented. She was accepted at Pratt Institute and got married at 19 instead, and that was the end of the art career. So anyway, I've often wondered what it would be, but she taught me a lot. So
that's a skill I wish I had. I cannot draw.
No, that's not my. In fact, on my wall here, I have a thing that says, "In all object making, the effect it involves art, design, and craft." And when I really pick through that, I always work on the art and design, but my real ability is in craft, is in carrying it out.
Yeah.
But we need to stretch ourselves, I think so.
I can't sing either, and I have a cousin who says, well, she's got an incredible voice, and she says, well, I can't sew.
We always called to sing happy birthday to family members and friends, and I always send them a text ahead of time, and I said, we're calling, so if you want to mute, it's terrible, but
who else is working on what?
I have a question while we're talking about it.
Okay, Jane.
I ordered some fabric from Fabric Mart, and it said it was 100% cotton. And when I got it, it looks like wool, feels like wool. It was supposed to be a dusty rose. I'm just gonna see if I can show you well, you know what? It looks dusty rose on the camera, but it definitely doesn't look like that in person. I was gonna make a lightweight coat, but it's so heavy now. I'm thinking it's almost gonna be like a winter coat. And it has like a brush finish. So it looks almost like a fur or something.
It's probably brush cotton.
Yeah, okay, brush cotton. That's probably but it's very heavy. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, before I started, should I wash it or should I have it dry clean? Because I probably would never iron this.
So if you are going to dry clean it after you put the coat together, then I would have it dry cleaned. If you're going to wash it, then I would wash it.
Okay.
To press it, if it's heavier, to press it, even after you wash it, you could take it to the cleaners and have them press it.
It's very, very, very heavy. I mean, when it came in, I was like, oh my goodness. So now I'm thinking maybe a rayon lining.
That would work, depending on how. You know what my favorite lining is? And I get it from Be Black, is taffeta, but it's very warm. So when I'm making like a dress coat, I use taffeta. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it feels. I like the way it wears. That's just personal choice. And I have used satin in a coat. I did a wool Melton coat years and years and years ago. And I actually used a heavy bridal satin. And it was just a gorgeous coat. But yeah, everybody's different. I don't like the flimsy, lightweight linings. That's personal choice.
Well, when I thought about it, because I didn't realize it was going to be this heavy, when I've made coats, of course, I've used the satin lining or even the satin back. But now that the winters are warmer than they used to be, even though I'm in the, on the East Coast, I'm trying to decide, because I thought this was going to be like a lightweight coat, and it's not going to be that.
Yeah, I would probably dry clean it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started about 3 things today. This is something I've never done. Kind of see it. This is some cording to make the piping, and it's 2 bar stool covers that my son asked me for cushions for his bar stools. So we'll see. I have to make them somehow attached to the bar stools, and I haven't got that part figured out yet.
You could do a band around and then put elastic underneath. That's the way I did ours.
Did you? But he has 2. He has 2 things that come up to attach the bottom or the seat to. So I'm hoping.
Oh, do they have backs on them then?
No, they're just round. So
one of the things that I've done is Velcro. I put staple Velcro to the underside of the stool and then have the side come down and put Velcro on that and Velcro to the stool. Because if you would use elastic and some of those other things, they slide around. But IKEA does this with all of their covers, slip covers. They
wow, good idea.
Yeah. You sew Velcro on the cover, and then you Velcro the cover to the stool or the chair or whatever, and it works out great. My husband always hated slip covers because they slid around and they never looked neat. But once I started on this, if I Velcro it to the furniture, then he doesn't even really know it's a slip cover. So
wow, what a great idea.
Do you know, does he be able to remove them? He wants to be able to remove them? Because I've done a lot of upholstering and I use staples underneath to, you know,
well, the problem is he's in Tennessee with these and I'm doing it long distance. And I've never even seen them other than pictures. So Casey, when you say Velcro, did you put it actually on the seat and then you put the cushion on top of it like that?
No.
Like under it?
I put it under it. So you make the sides a little longer, finish the edge of the bottom edge, and then you just sew Velcro to the cushion. And then what I would do is I'd send it the Velcro, the mate to it, attached to it, and just tell them staple this to the underside of your stool, and then everything should work together.
Okay. I might have to do that.
Use a drawstring, you know, if you could do a casing with a drawstring.
Well, that was my first thought. My first thought. So I don't know. I've never made cushions. So step one is to get the cushions at least figured out. And step two is to figure out the second part before I sew the first part. And then I'm crocheting.
Foam cushions?
Yeah. And I got the foam, but I got to cut the circle of it. And my friend's going to help me do that because she upholsters. So she should be able to help me cut how to cut 3-inch foam. And then I'm working on this. This is a preemie blanket to go with the little preemie hat that I made. I belong to a group down in Florida that does preemie stuff, hats and blankies and such for the NICUs.
And nice. Again, is that crochet?
Yes. I had a preemie, so it's kind of been in my heart that to do. And then here's the pic. You know, I showed you the black and white picture yesterday of the quilt for my granddaughter's wedding. Well, here's the.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was able to get all the fabrics that in that line. So I think she'll really like it. And it gave me inspiration since I was having a hard time getting started.
I was just going to offer a suggestion for cutting the foam. When I cut foam, I use an electric knife and it works pretty good. You know,
I think that's what Mom had done.
Pardon me?
I said, I think that's the way Mom did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it works. In fact, that's the only thing I use my electric knife for. But my granddaughter lives in California and she wanted me, I know what it's like to try to sew something at a distance when you can't do your own measuring and you can't, whatever, is terrible. So she and her significant other made this patio bench, pretty good size, but they couldn't get cushions to fit. So she sent me the measurements. She wanted to know if I'd make cushions. She knew I had done it before. I said, okay, but I need exact measurements, you know, okay. Well, and then I'm sending her pictures of fabric from Joann's and every place else. You choose. But anyway, with a foam, what I ended up doing is I just ordered it on Amazon and had it sent directly to her. You know, I got the size that I wanted and sent it directly to her. And I thought they can have the agony of trying to stuff that foam in those cushions. Anyway, I said to her, so when she sent me a picture, she said, oh, that's great. And Ken said, they look so professional. I said, yeah, but that one in the back is sitting down behind the front cushion. Well, she said, it's a little bit high. And I thought, yep, that's what happens when it looked a little dorky, you know, because anyway, it was let me see, ordinarily you'd have the cushion on the bottom and the one on top sitting on top. It was the reverse of that. And so that's what happens. You know, she sent me measurements and I had to go by that. She was happy, but I wasn't, you know.
I think they'll be happy with whatever Mom comes up with.
Yes, I think so too.
Worst critics.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
This is my little preemie that was 2.5 pounds is now over 6 foot tall and over 200 pounds. So, yeah, he's kind of special to me.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's all I've been doing.
That's a lot.
I think I need to retire so I can spend as much time sewing as all of you do. You guys have me just whooped on what you do.
You know, I don't know how you do it. In fact, after I retired, I still don't have enough time to do what I wanted to. When people talk about being bored during the pandemic, it doesn't even compute in my head, you know. This thing, I don't have time. So anyway, I should ask your opinion. I don't know if you can answer this. This was Paradise Valley Mall is closing over here. And so I was walking the mall one time because it was hot outside and there was a store closing and I loved this blouse. It was a denim blouse, but it was a large and I'm really a medium. The rest of the blouse isn't bad, but the sleeve came over here, you know. It was
drop shoulder.
But it wasn't supposed to be. So I took the sleeves out and I marked where I want it to come. And I'm going to have to take this much off it. But it's a lot. But I think I've done similar things before, but really not with any knowledge, just a little wing and a prayer, you know? And so what I'm hoping to do is to take that off and reset the sleeve. The sleeve, the arm's eye should be pretty much the same, I think. So what do you think? So I think maybe if I take, because once I get down here, it's fine from here to here. So really, I'm losing that. And
so I guess is there a little bit of gather or ease or something in the cap of the sleeve?
There may have to be, but no, as of now, no, there was not. And I guess what I need to do is to measure here to here on my mark, and then here to here, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now that I look at it, it is bigger. So
it's going to be longer. It looks like, yeah.
Right. So I figured I love the material is beautiful and the blouse is beautiful and it was $10. So I figure if I wreck it, you know, but I don't want to wreck it. I like it. The sleeve is interesting. It's got this kind of a bottom on it. See, kind of
a cute little bow at the cuff. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful chamois, you know, fabric. And so I hope I don't screw it up, but if I do, I'll cut the buttons off.
Yeah. Jean and I have, is it Jean or Jeannie?
Me?
Yeah.
Jeannie.
Okay. We're not far from each other. We're probably like 20 miles maybe from each other.
Yep.
And so we've decided we need to connect.
Yeah. We even figured out our children have the same names.
Yeah, it's weird. And husband. And
so we decided, yes, we have to, have some sort of connection. Actually, my granddaughter lives in Tolleson and she's about 26 miles. And you're not far from there, right?
Yeah, we're north of there.
Yeah. I told my husband the conversation we had. Who was it in the Northeast that was talking about the weather? And you mentioned the flooding that you had in the storm a couple of weeks ago. And I said, we didn't get it here and we're in the Northeast. And who was it that said, Jean, was it you, Jean Harris, who said, well, I'm in the Northeast and we didn't have, and I said, no, I'm in Northeast Phoenix. You're in Northeast United States.
It was me.
It was you? I think it was, yeah. And are you in Connecticut? Is that where you told me?
No. I'm in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland, okay.
So I'm in the Mid-Atlantic. So we get everything here. Right now it's hot and humid.
Yeah, actually everybody's getting everything anymore, right?
Did you get hit when Scottsdale got hit? Did you get hit with all that?
We had a lot of rain, and in fact we have we moved from a house to a condo a couple of years ago. There were 3 trees right outside our wall here that came right out of the ground in the rain because we had 2 inches, and for here that's a lot where the rain doesn't have any place to go, and the trees just fell right over. So they had to cut them down yesterday. So
did you see that golf course? I can't remember the name of it, where all those trees, 100 of them were laying. It was like somebody took and just plopped them over. Like a big giant came and just picked them out of the ground and put them down all in like Lego or log. What were those building blocks? The Lincoln logs. Yeah. Just laid. It was amazing.
Right.
Was it wind or water that did it?
The rain and the wind, but the rain probably saturated the ground, then the wind took them over.
Was it straight winds?
But it's hard to be critical because we desperately need water. So, you know, we've so far, this last time just had 2 inches. Last year we had 0. I mean, our average rainfall is 7 inches annual. And last year we had none. So it's really serious, you know.
Yeah, this last weekend we probably had about 3 inches. It was really pouring. And then what was it? Saturday, it started out with a good thunderstorm. And then probably late morning until 6:30 that night, it was that nice steady rain that, I just love that rain.
I do too. And I loved it when I lived in the Northeast of the United States. I like rainy days, but it depends. I guess too much of a thing isn't always so great. My brother lived in the Northeast and he hated it because they had so much rain and so much snow and whatever. And here we desperately need it and love it when we get it. But anyway.
What amazes me here is how inexpensive the water is.
Yeah, but yeah.
Compared to the electricity.
Yeah, but I think we are really headed for serious shortages and we're going to have to limit our water use, really.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. California too. My daughter lives in California and I keep reading there as well. Anyway, I wish they'd get some rain on the wildfires, you know.
Yeah, everything seems to be coming in this way and nothing on the wildfires.
No, I keep saying, that series, that one was only 42% contained after all this time. And I thought, boy, if they could just have a drenching rain.
Yeah.
My granddaughter lives in Sun City.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Who said that?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is she so?
No, it's Grandma, can you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to get of mending bags. They bring me. So.
She used to like for me to make her clothes, but then she didn't like ruffles. And so she was afraid to ask me because she thought Grandma put ruffles on everything.
Yeah.
I taught my daughter to sew. She's 40. She just turned 40 now. And I said, why don't you do some of this? Get a machine and do some of this. She goes, but Mom, then I won't need you. Ah, ha, ha,
ha. Yeah, that's true.
They always need Mom.
Yeah, I got all of my kids a sewing machine, a used sewing machine, whatever. The only one that ever used it was my son. And it was more to do like leather work or costuming for somebody or upholstery or something like that. But my daughters, no, not so much. So I was disappointed. And no granddaughters either. They don't want to sew. They bring me their stuff.
Yeah, so. I got our granddaughters going with the embroidery machine. I've let them like do that little purse and a couple other things. We did magnets, which we'll be doing in the first September class for Stitchers Collective. We did felt magnets and with Mylar, and they just thought that was the coolest thing, and they got to cut them out and put them on their fridge, and so they're hooked.
Yeah, I think the draw today is technology, and if that was available when my kids were younger and grandkids were younger, other than the conventional sewing we used to do, I think I might have them hooked because they like it. One of the things, of course, ASG has really worked to try to keep another generation sewing. But what they discovered is that women in their, 30s and 40s maybe want to make a skirt or whatever, and they want somebody who is more skilled to guide them through it, but then they don't want to do any more. So they aren't going to belong to an organization like ASG. So that's one of the they've had, with it.
It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah. Plus they want to do things their own way. And if it doesn't go together, they just cut it off. And that just drives me nuts. They don't understand that it's not going to hang right, but they don't care.
When
they don't.
Letting the kids play, the girls play all the sports, they quit learning to sew.
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great part of it.
But all the meetings, too, are during the week when the younger women are working.
Yeah.
There are no evenings or Saturdays anymore. When I was young, I went to sewing classes in the evenings after work, but they don't do that anymore. They don't do anything at night.
Yeah, when I started my ASG group in Tucson, I hadn't even heard of ASG. And one of the cab members came in with brochures. And I thought, what the heck is this? Right. And but again, and I was working at a Bernina dealership. And so I asked the owner if we could start a club that met, I think we did Monday nights, and it started out with just me and one other person. We grew it to 50.
That's great.
Where I am in Florida, it's only for the retired people who are able to get to these things. So we're losing a lot of sewers because of that.
So is it our fault, or is it their fault, or whose fault is it?
It's really no fault. Life has changed.
I think that's it. Yeah. Life has changed. I mean, most of our stuff is on Saturday, so you get, you can get the people that are working during the week. And most of our meetings too, the few that I know about are in the evening, and that's the problem now that I'm older, because I don't want to drive, 30 miles to a meeting and have to drive back, at night. Yeah.
Right. We were the only one that had an evening meeting just for that. For I was retired and several people were, but there were a lot of still working people. When I was young and sewing there, you were a lot of make and take projects. Do you remember those? They called them make and take because you could do it in a short time. And so I did some of that, but I realized as soon as I didn't have to, I am really not interested in make and take. I don't care if it takes a long time. I like the fuss and figuring it out. And I'm just not interested in make and take anymore. But anyway, it's
a lot of things were through adult education, so the schools were open. You had a lot of locations, but there is none of that now. The world has changed. That's because the way it is.
Because of COVID, you mean?
No. I don't think that. I think schools, first of all, used to be able to, drive up to a school and walk in and take a class, an adult class. That's off limits now, and that has reduced the locations that you can use that are not going to cost anything.
We do have community colleges here that have really good sewing programs.
Oh, that's wonderful. We have absolutely nothing here where I am. Nothing.
And where are you?
Ocala, Florida. No knit shops, no fabric shops, nothing.
We had a terrible time learning finding a place for our sewing group down in Florida when we lost the library during COVID. And then when we wanted to restart, everything was going to cost us an arm and a leg. And we finally found a church that we donate to their food pantry and, make a substantial yearly pledge to them. And that's how we got in. But the make and takes we tried, everybody wanted just to give them the instructions and the kit to take home. So we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. I know that appeals to a lot of people, but I really don't. One of the groups I belonged to was really, in fact, I don't know how I got into it because they were people that were much more skilled. In fact, 2 or 3 of them were pattern makers and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm way lower than that. But somehow they saw something in me that invited me to go. But what I liked about it was they taught a technique, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect.
They always had a lunch and whatever too, but the woman that ran it sort of ruled with an iron hand, but I liked the way she did it. It was 20 minutes. And so whoever presented had 20 minutes to sort of show a technique and whatever. And I said, and so if somebody wants to know more, and she said they can get in touch with the person that did it, and learn more. But then you could take that technique and use it any way you wanted. And I still prefer that to a project with a list of supplies.
Yeah, that's what I prefer too.
Right. I'm a member of the ASDP, Associated Professional Things. I'm not a professional, but I got into that, and that's what they do. They do the technique stuff, but these women are professional. I mean, like you say, a couple of them have pattern companies, and they go to all the sewing expos.
But they're great sources of information.
Well, yeah, because Susan Calgie is a member, so just
I like her work.
Just being in the room with her,
Right.
That's just it's just fantastic. But it's really hard finding groups like that, especially groups that deal with the pearls sewing, because I'm not into the other types of sewing, and most people now seem to be into the more crafty stuff, and that's just not me.
Yeah. Although they always say that if you want to get better, you need to spend time with people who are just a little bit better than you are, so that you're always going to, so that stretched me, but I learned.
Well, Susan Calgie is definitely,
Yeah,
in her category.
So many people are into quick projects now rather than like making coats and lined coats or tailoring and that stuff. They're more into the zippity and
yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, I think that clothing making it's not a skill a lot of people have anymore.
No.
And it's gotten to be so expensive to do it. Mm-hmm. You can to make a decent jacket, you can easily spend $200 to $300 on the fabric cleaning notions.
Most people aren't going to do that.
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
If you can find the fabric.
Exactly. Oh, which reminds me, Jeannie, do you know of any place around here that sells fashion fabric?
Oh no, that's sad, and I don't like mine because I can't feel it, I can't see it. Just the way, Jean, you had with that episode, you know, you chose fabric based on what you saw, but it came very different. And so no, I don't, and that's why I just inherited some beautiful wools from a woman that's not sewing anymore, and my sewing has changed too because of where I live. It's hot here so much of the year that I don't think about heavy wools and that sort of thing. But I can't. I couldn't give it up when I inherited this. So I'm sitting here looking at a whole bunch of beautiful wools. That's when I got in touch with you, Ramona, and said, you know, anybody here, I don't want to sew like that anymore. And I'm a little bit concerned about my ability to fit someone. But I think I did. I'll talk to you about that later. I think I found someone that might do it because do justice to it. And maybe my daughter-in-law is the head of the art department at Mesa Community College, and what she wanted was some suits, and I thought perfect, but I don't want to try to fit her, you know, and wreck this beautiful wool. So if it works, I'll let you know anyway.
Okay.
But you know, I really switched to lighter weight jackets and that sort of thing here. But I did learn from Nancy Zeman that even if you do make those, it's good to line the sleeves, you know, to be able to get them on and off easy. So many times I'll use an unlined jacket, but line the sleeves, you know, much more casual, you know.
Jeannie, we should go to the expo in September together.
Yeah, that would be good. Yes. Yeah.
Wait, is it going to be in Phoenix?
Yeah, there's, and I can't remember the dates. I want to say it's the first part of September.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Is that the sewing expo you're talking about, Ramona?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. They're having one in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I was surprised when I got the email.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's nice that those are starting up again. We missed them.
Yeah, do you find though, when you go to those, oh my word, I end up with a whole bunch more projects and I think I'm not going to live long enough to do all these projects.
You know, I don't do that kind of stuff, and I don't do fabrics unless I know if I can go home, cut it within the week, then I'll buy it. But if I know I can't, then I don't buy it because my tastes change and what I do changes so much.
Sure.
But sure. I like tools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tools and books. I love tools and books, but mainly tools now. I got a library full of books.
Ramona, you and I were going to win my 30-yard challenge.
What's the 30-yard?
What? I'm doing the reverse 30-yard challenge. I'm going to buy 30 yards of fabric, not use up.
Yes.
I like that idea. The retailers appreciate it too.
I was forced to downsize considerably when we moved here. I had fabric everywhere. In fact, at one point, I was cleaning out my sewing room and my husband went out in the garage to get something and opened a door out there. And he said, I thought this was in your sewing room. I said, well, it is, but I downsized my sewing room, but it went to the garage, you know, because I couldn't get rid of it. So anyway, but I did have to get a lot of fabric, but part of it was easy because as you said, Ramona, your taste changes. And your type of sewing changes. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of it was easy to give up. You know, as another thing though, finding a place to donate fabric or even sizable fabric scraps. You know, you used to be able to donate them to, there was a place called House Fabrics or something like that. Anyway, they had a big bin and they would collect those and they would take them to these community college classes that would use that for you know, what do I want to say? You know, if you you want to learn how to sew on taffeta or you want to sew on leather or whatever, you only need a small amount. So they would collect those. But of course, that place is gone and the schools don't take them anymore. And I have no idea if you donate them to Goodwill, what do they do with them? Where do you send them? Where do you know?
Yeah, Goodwill. I found actually a couple things. I found a Taylor's ham still in the package. And now those things are what, $35, $45? And it was the really nice old one. So it was heavy and sturdy. Still in the package, $2.95. I did that years ago because I needed a new ham. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I often thought it would be fun to start a resale sewing store. So all the notions and books and fabrics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There was one up here in Prescott. I don't know what happened to it.
Really?
Arizona. But what I did when I moved recently was I took a lot of it to the high school for the drama club. So any place where there's a theater group, especially if you got larger cuts, they would often take it because then they can make costumes out of it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
KC, since you're in Prescott, you should come down with us to the sewing expo.
Yeah. Well, that would be great, except I'm going to go to England during that time because the baby's due on September 4th.
Oh, okay. Good excuse.
Next year, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So they live in England. Did you say?
They're over there for his job, and she's started a job over there. So they're there for a little while longer. I'm not sure how many years, but we'll see.
You're going to be
2 years.
Yeah.
And the little baby will have a nice little English accent.
Yeah. We actually were scheduled to go on a trip July 30 or August 31st to September 26th, but it was the Balkans and it was 7 countries in 3 weeks, but lots of those countries not vaccinated, and we backed out. Got a little spooked. So anyway, so I'm here anyway.
So
I'm working on right now is because I'm just trying to move everything in. I have an opportunity to go through my stash, and I'm creating a master list of all of my fabric. We're on day 3.
How many days do you think it's going to take?
Well, I only get to work on it for an hour or 2 at a time while I'm on these calls, and a little bit in the evening. Then the rest of the time I'm working on the different house projects, but it's going to be a bit. But I've been reacquainted with some old friends, and some I'm moving on. The moving on pile is still pretty small because I did do a pretty good purge before we left Connecticut. But it's nice to get reacquainted with my friends.
Casey, how big is the place you're in now compared to the one you left in Connecticut?
So the usable space is about the same because I had a room over the garage, and so it was up in the eave. So there was pretty much a 16 by 16 footprint that was 8 feet tall. Then it kind of went into the eaves. So I made sure when I designed this house that I had a 16 by 16 footprint. So I figured I could get it all back in there. And I even did a little bump out. So my husband has a computer desk, et cetera, over there. So we can be together sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I had to squeeze much smaller, but where there's a will, there's a way. So, I used to say when she'd come, when we lived in Buffalo, she'd see my sewing machine was in the space in the attic, like you said, but it was like a family room and one dormer was my sewing room and whatever. She said, you have your sewing machine facing the wall. I said, when I sew, it doesn't matter, because I worked days. And so I would often sew until like 2 a.m. and then I had to be to work at 7. So it was short, where there's a will, there's a way. So anyway.
Yeah. So we're going to do apparently sewing room tours on the Thursday accessory and bag class. On Thursday. So I will be giving a little tour. It's obviously not ready for prime time, but because I'm on folding tables and boxes everywhere, but I've got a few things sorted out, and we're just talking about the process and how we set things up. So that's what our Thursday group is going to be doing.
Yeah, that's great.
They don't want to see my sewing room. It's a workroom.
Well, that's the whole point is we were not, there was no beauty contests here. In fact, we would just want to see how people manage things? You know, how do you manage thread? How do you manage your fabric storage? How do you manage, you know, your ironing station and things like that? And we're just looking for the ideas, not for perfection, because if you've got perfection, you're obviously not using it.
Yeah. Well, mine is definitely used.
Yeah, good thought. I had cabinets made for the wall that one was just sewing thread and the other was all embroidery threads. And it was terrific, but I had no room for them here. So I had to reinvent something else, and it's not nearly as user-friendly. But, you know, if you want to do it, you figure it out. But I can create a horrible mess in here if I'm doing a sewing or embroidery project, because I have to haul them out of these boxes that I have behind me and whatever. I miss my wall cabinets. But anyway.
I pulled up the Stitchers Collective. I just did Word document. Let me share. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So for September, we're going to do, these are the fall leaves I was telling you my granddaughters did, that they had a great time with that. So I'll be sharing a free design. This free design you'll get if you're a machine embroiderer, and it fits in a 4x4 hoop. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And it's real easy to do, fun to do. And then we're going to talk about reducing bulk. And Kenneth King has an origami pocket, and Louise Cutting has a collar that's very interesting, and you may have seen those. And I'll be putting this as it gets closer to the time. I'll be putting them up on the on the website in the blog. And then fleece tips and tricks for slippers. That's September 22nd. Oh, and there's no class on September 1st.
Okay.
So the 22nd is that. And there were different patterns. I think one of these was free, if I recall right. And then we'll do another sharing. Hopefully you'll have your notebook started. And Andrea, who does the other sew clubs, she did a wonderful notebook technique, covered notebook. So we'll hopefully get our notebook started. And then let me find, I'm gonna figure this out. Move that. Then in October, can you see October now?
No.
All right.
Can you just scroll up?
Let me, I'm going to do a new share. I think that's what it wants. Now is it viewable for October?
Yes.
Yes. October 6th.
Okay. So I have Halloween treat bakes I make in the hoop, because I know a lot of us have embroidery machines we don't use a lot, and I love my embroidery machines. So this is using Mylar as well. The leaf had Mylar in it too. So if you've never worked with Mylar, it's so much fun. And I've gotten to the point that I almost like using Mylar instead of metallic thread. So we'll be doing Halloween treat bakes in the hoop. And then we're going to talk about old and antique sewing machines. And I'll put a blog up because I have an old, I think it's called a Minnesota, that was my great grandmother's. So it's from the turn of the last century, and it has a different kind of, it has a shuttle bobbin. And I actually had to look up on YouTube what a shuttle bobbin was, because I had never seen one. So I haven't used it yet, but learning about it. And then doing a shirt making challenge. And I found some YouTube videos for that I'll be putting up on the website and sharing on GroupWorks. And then October 20th, let's see. October, I thought one of these was Okay, then October 27th is a Q&A. And then I think in November, I'll share my shirt making technique. I thought it was in this one, but maybe I didn't have time. I might have switched it out, so that you get that really nice curve at the center front where the collar meets the band. So that's what's coming up, and all of those are already up on the website. So all you have to do is go in and sign up for those. And then I'm looking for ideas for November, December. somebody had asked about piping, and then somebody else asked about the shirt technique. So I think that those two are for November. And I was wondering, would you be interested in some quick gifts, or what other kinds of things would you like to do?
I just have a question about, you said signing up for the others. If we are signed in to belong to Stitches Collective, do we need to sign up for every one of those classes?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. By the month, right?
Well, as long as you could sign up all the way, as many classes as there are. So you can sign up per time, or all the classes that are listed, you can go in and just sign up for each one of those.
Yeah, I think I did that. I better check.
So any ideas, or anybody got anything that they want to learn, or are you looking for gift ideas, or?
Might be a good idea. Some gift, some quickie gifts.
Okay.
Maybe not for November or December, but I'd like to see your tools and notions and how you use them, because I'm a notion collector too.
Okay, there is one of those in one of the, I think, let me look here. See which one that is. I thought I had that in for one. Well, maybe that is November. Let's see. Shirt making and that's interesting. Maybe I've got that in November. I've got books and notions.
Which one do you have? I didn't see anything.
Yeah. I know I put it in somewhere. So maybe it's next month then, books and notions. And let me look here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are we doing in August?
Yeah, maybe it's in August. Let me look here. August.
When you do notion, maybe you could have everybody show their favorite notion.
Yep, that's what I have. Thank you, Jean. Okay, let me see if I can screen share again. We'll do that one. August, share.
August 11th, books.
So we have favorite notions, August 4th.
Yep.
So everybody can share what they like. And sewing books on August 11th. August 18th is favorite instructors and what they've taught you. And August 25th, favorite fabrics and where to buy them.
Oh, 8/4, that's next week, isn't it?
Yeah, can you believe it? Oh.
Yeah, I hope I can figure out how to do it. Oh, my husband's having his surgery, but anyway.
So that's what's coming up.
That's exciting. I like all of it.
Okay, good, good.
Ramona, when you mentioned Andrea, she also has a Sewspire where she does tutorials in that. And she asked one day as to what the favorite thing we learned from her. And when I watch her, she uses her tools and she puts them back where they belong immediately. And when I'm getting back into sewing now, and I tell myself, Andrea would say, put it where it belongs, because I would spend more time searching for what I needed instead of sewing.
You have no sense of adventure.
The adventures were too long.
And I buy duplicate tools so that I have something at my cutting station. The tools I use all the time, like nippers and shears. And so I have one at my cutting table, one at my ironing table, and one at my sewing machine.
Yeah, as long as you know you've got them, because when I moved, I was amazed to see how many duplicates I had that I didn't know I had. It was, a surprise. But anyway, I always say if somebody's going to empty my dishwasher there, if you don't know where it goes, leave it on the counter, because I don't want to figure out where somebody else thinks I should have put it. So in this case, in my sewing room, if I can't find it, well, I can't blame anybody but me.
Ramona, when I watched the tailor video that you had posted to look at, it was somewhere maybe at the bottom of it was the sewing guru. He's a tailor and he teaches out of England. He has oodles and oodles of tutorials and they're free.
Oh, great. I'll check that out. Thank you.
Sewing Guru.
Sewing Guru. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He used to go by a different name and then he changed it. I have it somewhere. Yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, now he goes by Sewing Guru.
And those are YouTube? They're YouTube, Elaine? They're YouTube videos?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I spend all day just on YouTube with the sewing
Yeah, no
stuff.
kidding. No kidding.
I tried not to do that. Then I'd get no sewing done.
Yeah.
Although everybody on YouTube is not good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time looking at videos going, oh my gosh, I hope people don't follow you.
Yeah.
Right.
But then again, there's some really, really good ones. I'm so fortunate, or we all are, that they do share their information.
Yeah. Oh, you can
it takes a lot of time to do all these videos.
Yeah. Yeah. You can find just about anything, how to do anything.
Does anyone remember Sue Hausman?
Oh, yeah.
Viking. Well, she belonged to our American Sewing Guild, and now she's, I believe, in Arizona.
Yeah, she's in Green Valley.
Well, she hosted our meeting at her home in Westlake. Oh, you can't believe her whole house. It was just fantastic.
Oh, Green Valley house, I hear, is just as beautiful.
Really? I've got her whole line of books. I think there's 30 of them.
Yeah, she's a sweet lady.
Mm-hmm. In Tucson for, you said 30 years or something like that. And a few years ago, I went to the annual meeting when they draw, of course, from Green Valley and all of the areas around there. I was very impressed. Unfortunately, Phoenix, being the fifth largest city in the country, can't compare at all to the enthusiasm of that group. They had a fashion show where people modeled what they had. They were very eager to share patterns, which I got. They have a lot of special interest groups. You could feel the enthusiasm. I came away wishing it was true in Phoenix, but we've had a hard time in Phoenix keeping.
Well, they're having a hard time now in Tucson too, because nobody wants to step up and be in the leadership positions.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, the women on the board now have been having those positions anywhere from probably 4 to 12 years. They just kind of rotate them. And that's a long time.
Sure.
I think that's true of a lot of groups.
We had to disband our group in Cleveland.
Oh, really?
Back in May. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. The woman that was going to take it over again she was our first president. And she was diagnosed with colon cancer, and she's in hospice right now. Nobody else wanted to do anything. I've been in different spots. After a while, you get tired of people coming and sitting and absorbing and not giving you anything back.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
But I miss my friends.
Yeah, one of the things I found was a problem is that most of the group is retired people. And so they travel and they're gone part of the year, whatever, and they don't want to assume a position that they can't do all the time. So I think that's one of the problems. But you're right. There are always people who are the doers and those who are just those that take in. So
we even said, split in office because like you said, they come and go. That didn't work either.
No, you tried that? That happens even here in the condo that we live in. They have all of these committees, a water and a landscape committee and this and that. But a good deal of them are gone a lot of the year. But they stay connected remotely. And when we had all the water the other day, my husband seems to be the only one here right now. And somebody from out of town said, would you just go look to see if there's any water intrusion in any of the buildings and whatever. So they somehow managed to even remotely, assume their position and do a half decent job. So, but this would be a different story. Ramona, you said you got that group up to 50, and the group that I belong to here in Northeast Phoenix, did have, I'll bet you 45 or 50 people, and we are now whittled down to about 8 people, or maybe 9. And
from ASG.
Yeah.
Well, I know that they were looking for a leader in Scottsdale.
Yeah, because that one. But this is Northeast Phoenix, and it was the only one at one time that met at night to accommodate the people that worked. And then when the people that worked either moved or left or whatever, then they switched it to a day meeting. And then during COVID, we met on Zoom, so we could still, do a show and tell and do a little teaching and that sort of thing. But the group was really whittled down,
That's why that's why I think the Stitchers Collective and Andrea's Sewing Club and all of those, it's really important to have those because we still need this interaction. We still need to learn.
Mm-hmm. Well, our ASG went down too in Ocala. We lost it.
Really?
Oh yeah. They had a big group at one time, but people have, first of all, most of the people are retired or close to retirement. And it's very, you have to do reports and you have to get on the computer to be a treasurer. You have to download their program I'm not interested in going back to work. So, and I think that's how a lot of people feel. But I belong to a small group now, much more informal. It's a Florida Sewing Society. And it's a more casual group, but we do a lot. We do. It's small, but we do a lot.
Good.
I'm curious, do they, are the majority of the people in your small group interested in the same kind of sewing?
Well, we're open, basically. Some people, we've made some garments, we've made bags, we've made little things, we've made quilt squares, which we had a little raffle, and, whoever won the squares at a Christmas party got to have it to put it together. And little things like that. They're small things, but we still stay connected. And we still say sewing.
Yeah, we stay connected too, but we definitely have two people that do nothing but quilting, actually three that do nothing but, and we have 2 or 3 garment sewers, and we have, the areas of interest. But I always felt I could learn something from somebody. We had one person in our group that did nothing but make Renaissance costumes. Well, I can tell you, I'm never going to make a Renaissance.
Yeah, but you can learn.
I learned a whole lot from her about fitting and notions that they use and that sort of thing. So I think you can always take something away and apply it to your own area of interest, but that's been one thing to try to keep it going. And that's another reason why I think it's hard to have a group project, but anyway, if there's a will, you'll figure it out, and so we last week, for the first time after a year and a half, met for lunch outdoors. Everybody was like, it was like a reunion, We've seen each other on Zoom, but actually, it was very funny. In fact, we said, "Oh, you have legs."
Well, we still don't have our sewing place. They haven't opened it up to us again. So we're sewing in somebody's home right now every month. She's got a bigger home and it's fine for her, but it's not like, you kind of have to find a little table, somewhere and set up your sewing machine. I can't really see in that lighting. So, I'll be glad when we get back to the actual room that we have once a month where the big
Diane,
tables and like
the room that you had per month though, did you meet all day or did you have certain hours? Or
we had it till 5, but usually people want to go around 1 or 2. So but we could stay. Like one day we did use the whole day to make a pair of slacks. We had someone come in and help us draft a pattern that fits us the way we like it. It's the Sure Fit system, I think it's called. So that was fun. We enjoyed that.
Yeah. The reason I ask is that we had, at one point we were meeting in the clubhouse of a condo complex, and they let us use it for a certain time. And it was like $5 a year or something like that. But they tried to do things like make table placemats or something for certain occasions or whatever, to just try to pay them back a little bit. But the problem was we had it in the evening. And by the time people bring their sewing machines, set it up, and then you talk a little bit about the business of the ASG group, and then actually sew, there was very little time to sew before it was time to
you can't do much in 2 to 3 hours. It really does have to be a longer time.
Right. There is a group out in the, in fact, Ramona, you probably know about it. They're called pedal pushers.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, they meet all day and they meet once a week. So, but it's a long way for me to go. But I like the idea that it's once a week and it's all day. And they do everything. They do some group projects, but if you don't want to do it, you work on your own thing. But it keeps the group cohesive. And I really like that. I wish we had one near me. But
they used to do something similar to that at the sewing center. It was like the Genome dealer, but the owner decided not to do it anymore. And it's a shame because there's, aside from the fact that I found this little group to join, there was absolutely nowhere for people here to go sewing. There are no classes, no meetings, none of the sewing stores, those that are still open, have classes.
Well, you know, I suppose there probably has to be cost effective for them too. They're paying for that space. And so, you know, if you can't figure out some way to either buy products from them or something, there's nothing in them. So I could see why they do that. But
well, he's strictly in it for, you know, he has no passion for the sewing end of his business. So it's just a vacuum cleaner sales place. And he sells wonderful, expensive machines, but you're on your own in terms of classes.
You know what I found, though, is that I'm a Viking user and have been since, the 90s probably. But it was because they did the work on site and I could talk to them. And it was small and it was a sew and vac. And I really, really liked it. And then it became a company store and I've hated it ever since. They only care about selling machines and here, pay your $16,000 or whatever the machine next, you know, and I really like the sew and vac idea. They started they had a classroom and they started classes and that sort of thing. And I like the fact they did the repairs, but it's not the same anymore, you know. Really.
You know, I'm lucky here. We have a sew and vac, a baby lock dealer, Janice, and for the life of me, her last name's, I just can't think of it. But she does classes. I mean, if you buy a machine, you get classes forever. She has great quilting fabric. If you're into quilting, every notion you ever thought you wanted. And twice a year, she'll have what she calls the sewing fair. She'll bring in, people from out of town, to show different stuff. I mean, her business is booming. During the pandemic, she did absolutely fantastic.
They have opened up a little sewing shop in Crystal River, which is not too far from where I am near the coast. But she has got that type of a business. It's a family business, and they're so inspiring because when you go in there, they're so enthusiastic about what they do. And yes, their fabric costs a bit more than Joann's, but I don't mind. It's better quality, and I can actually take a class to learn how to sew on it. So
that's about an hour from me when I'm in Florida.
This shop is just fantastic. She has great fabric. She has a great fabric buyer.
Love stores like that.
And her son is also, he's in the business. So, it's going to go on for a while. And I think he has a little daughter that's about 7 or 8. And, she's sewing. She has her little machine. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
in all fairness, though, I will say they do have some classes there. But what I find is now my software is I have 5D embroidery system, which to them is technology. It's old. They're not at all interested. There's nobody to support it or anything like that. Figure it out. And within the last year, my one machine bit the dust. I had an SE machine and loved it, but I've had it 13 years. So I bought a used Epic. And it's a whole different beast. And they do have classes, but they won't even sell that machine anymore because they've come out with an Epic 2. And so they're not very interested in teaching you your machines. And they have reduced hours because ever since the COVID, they have reduced hours. But I did learn something about a week ago. I called and asked because I had a specific question and I got that answer. I had no idea. But anyway, she directed me to an online site called Sewing Mastery. And it was great. I mean, they talk about every in every way, and it was full of information. So I thought, okay, well, I can get my information that way. But and some of you might want to check that out. Sewing Mastery, I think it was called.
Thank you. Yeah.
Joann Fabrics has their headquarters about 45 minutes from my house. And my Cleveland chapter, we had a tour of their facility. it was fantastic to see how the fabric is rolled and the way they fix it and all. And they had the first superstore at this Hudson, and now they have superstores all over. But they're all, we call them the crafty craft stores because craft. You have to hunt for the fabric department.
Yeah, ours is like that too. Mostly crafts of other types, and then some sewing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you talking, Elaine, about the Joanne ETC?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in Hudson, Ohio. Mm-hmm.
Fabric. Has anybody ever followed Goodbye Valentino or something like that? Her name is Sarah something or other, but she's very talented. She obviously has is academically educated in the field, and then has just taken off. And she had a challenge of not wearing anything for a year except what you make. You're allowed your underwear, I guess, but otherwise it's what you make. And then she also has a blog that was great. It's the only blog I follow, but she was great at tips and whatever. And she, of course, bought a lot of fabric at Mood and whatever, and talked about places where she likes fabric. But every once in a while, she'd have something really great, and she'd say she got the fabric at Joann's. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to think differently about it and go back. They have so many quilting fabrics; it's hard to get garment fabrics there.
And fleece.
Yeah.
And lots of fleece for Florida.
Lots of
Same for Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not good fleece. That's the problem. I mean,
yes, that's true.
It's not good. Somebody was telling me that they got fleece from Amazon. And really? They brought it to a class, and I was shocked. It was soft. I was amazed. So has anybody ever ordered any fabric from Amazon?
I order almost all my fabric from Amazon, but I do the retailers that I already know, because there's a lot of retailers now selling on Amazon, like fabric.com and fabric online. I don't think that's where I get my linens. But there's a lot of fabric stores that sell on Amazon now, and you get free shipping.
Yes, Ramona.
Right, I didn't know that.
Give us those vendors on Amazon that you use. That'd be great.
Yeah, I will when we do that section.
Yeah.
I understand that Amazon owns fabric.com.
What is it?
I understand that Amazon owns fabric.com.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I forgot where I heard it, but I did hear that. So, I mean, I guess it's a rumor. I can't say it's fact because I don't remember where I learned it.
I'll see if I can find out. That's interesting if it is. But yeah, there's a lot of vendors that I actually love that sell on Amazon.
Yeah, all right, ladies.
It's 10 minutes after the hour, and I got to scoot.
Okay.
This has been really fun. You guys are a great group.
Lots of information.
Thank you.
So we'll see you next week. Don't forget to sign up.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.